going to turn this on like this. All right. All right, I think, oh look, I see Mrs. Napehaver. Hi, Mrs. Napehaver. All right, we are recording. So we're gonna go ahead and start, and we will, just the teachers will introduce themselves. Since my dog is barking, I'm gonna mute us, and I'm gonna have Miss Julie and Mr. John start. So if everyone, if you're not familiar with Zoom, you're going to click on the bottom left-hand corner, the little microphone. Click that to mute yourself so we don't hear any background noise, or everyone will hear background noise. And Miss Julie, Mr. John, Mrs. Napehaver, me, and Mrs. Cerniak should be the only ones who talk. If you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand or do it with the reaction button. And if you're not comfortable being on camera, you can absolutely stop your video. So I'm going to mute, and I'm going to turn it over to Miss Julie, Mrs. Napehaver, and Mr. John so they can introduce themselves.
Hi everybody, I'll go first. I'm Miss Julie and I work in the pond room, and I work with Mr. John. We teach the salamanders and the blue herons, and we've been working together for a very long time, maybe 8 years. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
And we are super excited for this year. We know it's going to be a little bit different, but we are excited. We're ready to be back in the classroom. We've missed it, and we're excited to just get to see all of your faces and play and have fun and do all kinds of art projects and enjoy. Even if it's only 2 days a week, we're going to have the best time. And then when we send stuff home, you'll have stuff to do with your families. And to all the grown-ups that are just watching without children, I say hello. My name's Julie, and it's going to be a great year. And I know things are different and confusing and hard, but me and Mr. John want everyone to just be comfortable and happy and just be completely open with us. And if there's something that you are worried about or have a concern about, please just let us know. Open communication both ways. We'll do the same. And I'll let Mr. John talk.
Hello, I'm Mr. John. This will be my 16th year teaching at Palmer Preschool, so I'm excited about that. I've worked with Miss Julie for the last 8 years in the pond room. And all I can say is we'll try to give you the best experience that you'll ever possibly can have for early childhood education. I'm going to leave it up to Mrs. Popper now down there, maybe, or there. I don't know where she is on the grid.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Napehaver, and I happen to be related to Kim, Jackie, and Julie. I've been teaching with Miss Jackie for a couple of years now, but I've been at Palmer Preschool teaching with Kim way before that, a very long time. So I hope you guys have a fun year this year. We plan on some exciting things, some fun things, and I'm going to turn it over to Kim and Jackie and let them get started with the meeting.
All right, so I am Miss Jackie, and I have been at Palmer Preschool for quite a long time all of a sudden, because I said I was never ever going to be a teacher, but I ended up there as a teacher. And I've been teaching, and I've taught in every single room, but I also help out at the in the office with kind of whatever Mrs. Cerniak asks me to do. So sometimes I help with registration, I help with the website, but mostly I'm a teacher, and I teach the grasshoppers, squirrels, and cardinals. Those are the ones that me and Mrs. Napehaver have.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kim Cerniak, or Mrs. Cerniak, as the children will call me. And I have been at Palmer Preschool. This will be my 22nd year. And I am the owner and director. And I have to say, in all my years, this last year has been the most eventful. I never thought in my lifetime, and I'm sure most of you never thought in your lifetime, that we would be going through something like a pandemic. But one way or the other, I want to welcome you to the 2020-21 school year at Palmer Preschool. We have a fantastic year planned. I know there's a lot of concern that children will be behind or that things won't be the same. It is our goal at Parma Preschool to make this a year filled of joy, fun, and friendship. Children are very aware of what's going on in the world. A lot of times we don't give them credit for what that is going on. We think, oh, they might not know, but they do know. And they have been going through it right along with us. So there's a lot of concern about, mostly as a teacher, we hear that they're going to be behind, that they're not learning or they're not this. Well, I think I'm going to propose to everybody that maybe it's different, and maybe they didn't learn some of the things that they were supposed to learn last year, but there's a whole slew of things that they learned that they wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to learn if the pandemic didn't happen. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we are so busy, and we're so busy about going to work and getting here and going there, that sometimes we forget the simpler things of life. So the pandemic hits, and all of a sudden, kind of like it felt like the world stopped. And it kind of did. I mean, we all got really scared. We all huddled up in our homes, and we tried to sort out what's going to happen with this or where it's going to go. And now it's been, let's see, that was March, so it's been a few months. And I can guarantee you that these children are going to have learned how to be a lot kinder to others. Some of them have learned where China is. I bet before this, they never had any idea where China was. And now through this, they have learned that there's a country, China, that is so many miles away, that was able to change our world all the way over here. So from that, they learned how each and every action or reaction or connection, or I'm trying to think of the perfect word to say, but they learned how every single thing is connected. And that's something I think, I'm going to speak mostly for Americans. I know certainly for myself, kind of got away from, taking my time, thinking about doing the right thing or whatever, because we got so busy, we just hurry up and go about our business. Well, it made us all stop and look at things a little bit different. So we probably spent more time calling our mom or our dad on the phone. We probably, I don't know, learn to have a family dinner and sit and talk about things around the dinner table. Some of us might have even learned how to cook or garden. And while we were doing all these different things, these children are learning every single minute that they are alive. And they have learned all of these things that they probably wouldn't have had a chance to learn, because we wouldn't have done them. And now hopefully through this, all of us, and especially these children, are going to make great changes in how the world looks going forward. So that's my spiel on this. And I think we have to start looking at, yeah, there's changes, but these changes could be great changes. Maybe the schools won't put so many children in a classroom. Maybe we'll all appreciate what teachers do every day, because we don't know. Hey, we learned that the grocery store was the most important thing. I don't know if I thought much about grocery store workers. Well, I appreciate them now, because when it was bad, they were out there and I was able to get food. So there's all these things that, I think we're all going to see big changes, and I think they're going to be great changes. So that's my focus for this year with the children and everything. So we'll get on with some of the things that will be happening at our school.
It is. It's going to be a great year. I know it might be a little bit of a different year than we thought we were hoping for, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be a positive year. So I am going to share my screen, and then you will be able to see this kind of slideshow PowerPoint. And again, if you have any questions, just go ahead and kind of interrupt us by waving your hand or the little buttons that say reactions. All right, so we are going to present this. And we'll make sure that each teacher has an opportunity to talk. But here is your parent orientation for this year. And just like Ms. Cerniak was mentioning, we have a few positive change quotes. So her favorite is actually, be the change you wish to see in the world. And I found another one, the world hates change, yet it is the only thing that has brought progress. And I think that's sort of important to remember. Like sometimes there's changes that we can't control, and yet that has happened, but maybe they're not all bad. So let's see what comes out of this, like she was mentioning. So let's talk about specifically Parma Preschool and this year. For our school, we are going to have a few changes, and things may change often. So most importantly, we always say communication is key for success, and it's going to be more important than ever. So as things continue to change, check in with us, check your emails, make sure you have our app downloaded. We use Remind. So if you're not familiar with the Remind app, you can actually get texts just by logging on through sending a text to a phone number. You can see that on the link to, it's actually on our website. We don't have that on here. If you're not familiar with the Remind app, I can get you more information from that. Miss Julie, would you go ahead and explain this slide for me? Because of course, this is when I actually have 3 kids and I'm at home and my husband is working. And of course, this is the time all day where my kids, you know, are in the room with me. So Miss Julie, can you explain this slide?
Yep. I also have my son here, who is, he's Captain America, and he says hello to everybody. So we're all in this together, you know, we're all at home and we're doing our meeting virtual, but what are you going to do? Things come up. So this year, we really want things to be as consistent as we possibly can. You are. And we're going to try our best to keep everything consistent so that there's not a lot of change for all the adults that are also, okay, can you give me 1 minute? All the adults that are trying to balance, you know, work and school. And also for the children, we want our school to be a place where they know that they're going to be going every 2 weeks. But as things change that are out of our hands, you know, please know that we're going to do our best to keep things as normal as we can. But if they do change, we're going to try to have, you know, give you open communication, let you know as soon as possible. Please, please, please check your email and your Remind, because since we're not going to be seeing a lot of you as much as we normally do, and we only see your children for 2 days of the week. Yeah, watch that one. We need to make sure that if we have a change or something comes up, that we can contact you through email and Remind. Remind works really well, but email also we can send, you know, bigger messages in it. Remind's more of a small blurb, more of like a text. We're only running 2 classrooms this year, which is different. Usually we have 3 classrooms. Yeah, buddy, that's a good one. Usually we have 3 classrooms, but this time, this year we're only doing 2. And that's just because our numbers of enrollment have worked that way. So if you were originally signed up to be in the cricket class, you are now in the salamander class, which is with me and Mr. John. And we're in the morning. There's Mr. John right there. And then the Robin class and the Cardinal classes are going together.
Miss Julie, I can take over now.
All right.
It's so hard. So we only have 2 classrooms, and we are not going to have snack. So that's a big change for us. In the past, we've always had snack, and we're kind of sad about it, honestly, because we're used to having snack, and it was a big part of our day. The kids will be fine without snack. So that is our big picture. Let's talk about rules for the building. because we are still operating by choice under the pandemic rules, although we are able to go back to our normal licensing, we've decided to stick to the pandemic rules to keep some of these things in place a little safer for our families and our employees. So we are going to limit all visitors inside the building. In the past, we've had people come in and visit so often. We're not going to do that as much this year. So we're going to limit visitors. It doesn't mean that you won't be allowed to come into the building. It'll just require us to know ahead of time. So if we have visitors, anyone over the age of 5 has to wear a mask. Our doors stay locked, and you can ring the bell, and we can come and meet you at the door, check your temperature. If you have any signs or symptoms of illness, you will not be allowed in. Any temperature from 100 degrees up, you will not be allowed in. If you check out and you're wearing a mask and we can get past that, you'll wash your hands. And then if you're a visitor, you'll go to the office to sign in and do whatever you were there to do, whether it's read a story to the children or observe. We always had a no cell phone policy, and that will remain the same. When you're in our classroom, in the school, we want your attention to be on the children, not on a cell phone. We also are hoping that you practice social distancing, and we'll have some things in place, like my little Lego picture in the corner, to remind you. So we might have some stickers on the floor, or maybe just a sign that says to remember to practice social distancing. You'll see that outside too, as well, as we will be by the doors to welcome you in. I think we're thinking just chalk actually on the ground outside of our doors, but we'll see what works. And then teachers, just to give you an idea of what we have in place, Mrs. Cerniak and all of us will be doing well checks at arrival. Our temperatures will be checked. We are required to wear masks or face shields. All right, so moving on. That's our whole building. Let's go to classroom. In the classrooms, we have some new rules that we put in place, but really there's not a lot that we have to change. We have always been pretty neurotic with cleaning, so there's not a lot difference. One big thing is, because we've always washed our hands when you enter the building, our grown-ups didn't always wash their hands, so that's something that'll be new to you. In our classroom, once you get into the building, you'll walk your child to the classroom. There are going to be no shoes in the classroom. This is something we wanted to do forever, and other centers do this, but it's new to us. So whether you're a parent, a child, a visitor, if you're going in the classroom, no shoes. You can walk in your socks, in your bare feet, in slippers, or school shoes. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep a pair of flip-flops. We have like one of those over-the-door shoe racks, and we're going to label each one with the kids' names. I'm thinking I'm going to leave a pair of flip-flops there, and when I come into the school and go to my classroom, I'll change and put my school shoes on. But everybody loves to wear slippers in the winter. So if you don't, obviously when it's like 90 degrees, you don't really want to put slippers on, but children can bring school shoes, wear socks, wear bare feet, or slippers. I think it's slippers, shoes, bare feet, socks, everything. The only other thing is boots. We always, when we go outside, we want them to wear boots, not the shoes that they wore, so we keep their shoes nice and clean and we don't trap mud and stuff going into the school. So we won't have any snack or food in the classroom, which is kind of sad, and it's new and it's disappointing to us, but it's a minor detail. You know, this is not something that is going to be the end of the world. You don't need any sippy cup, water bottle, milk, juice. Don't send it in the backpack. Don't send it with your child. They won't. I know it sounds like, oh my gosh, they're going to be without the sippy cup and juice and milk for 2 hours. They will be fine. They'll be very busy. We have water coolers in the classrooms, and we have Dixie cups. So now is a good time to start introducing a cup without a straw or a sippy cup lid if you haven't. And if you haven't, don't freak out. They'll do it at school. Even if they don't do it at home. I have a 5-year-old. I have 3 kids. My youngest is 5. He still wants a sippy cup at home. It doesn't mean that he can't drink out of a cup without a lid. He chooses the sippy cup. And a lot of times I prefer it because I know it's not going to spill all over. So we have water coolers available. We ask you when you come to school with your child to stay in the hallway. So don't come in to the, we've had this happen in the past. Don't come in and open the classroom door and say goodbye to your child. Wait till the teacher's there. It sounds silly, but we've had it happen. And sometimes we find a child sitting there in the classroom by themselves. That's a scary thing for us, scary thing for the child, and scary for the parents. So wait until a teacher greets you to come into the classroom. Backpacks, mailboxes, folders, boots, shoes, everything's gonna stay in the hallway. So that's just one way that we're keeping things from home out of the classroom. So what does your child need at school? Mr. John, will you kind of go over what do they need at school? Because they really don't need a lot. We give them all the supplies, so this is all your child needs.
Yes, your child will only need a backpack for carrying our communication folder. Basically, every child gets a folder, and that folder will be the line of communication always between you and us through them. So whatever happens in their life that you think is important to us or that we need to know about, whether it's like they woke up at 5 in the morning and they didn't eat breakfast, or they saw a scary movie last night, let us know so we kind of have some kind of like, I don't know, like sensibility about what's going on in their life. You know what I'm saying? So always do that. Check the folders. The folders are very important. We will put information that we want you to know in the folder. You will take the folder home, read it, ascertain whatever you need to know, and then bring us back the information that we need to know from that. So that's our biggest form of communication, is the folders. Boots are for basically going outside. We have an outdoor classroom that can get pretty muddy and dirty. And, there's mulch, there's dirt, there's plants everywhere. We let them go everywhere and explore. So having that said, that we're not having to have them have shoes in the classroom, having rubber boots, rain boots would be a good idea. We have gone puddle jumping in the rain. So, have boots. We could go outside and they can go anywhere they want. The thing is with boots, if you have your feet in rubber boots with no sock, it's pretty bad. So maybe a pair of socks with the rubber boots. Slippers, you can bring us slippers. We're gonna have a slipper rack on the back of doors hanging up right outside the classroom. I think Miss Jackie might have hers inside her classroom, but ours will be outside the classroom. And you'll be able to take off your shoes right there at the cubbies, put on your slippers, and then come right into the classroom. Oh, yes. You must have a change of clothes at all times, anytime, and base your clothes on the change and seasons of the weather. That is a very important thing, because you might think oh, well, it's getting cold, I'll put a hoodie in and some long pants. But when spring comes and, something might happen and they want to change, they don't necessarily want to wear a hoodie from fall. It's too hot. So make sure that you do have a gallon Ziploc bag in the backpack filled with clothes. I mean, it doesn't have to be everything perfectly, folded in order and whatever, but just a good change of clothes so they feel comfortable maybe to get in and out of if they get dirty, have an accident, or, anything happens.
Thanks, Mr.
You good with all that?
Yeah,
You good?
perfect.
All right.
Perfect. All right, so our first day of school, it's in 5 sleeps. It's so exciting. That's how we count things here at my house. How many sleeps? So this is a little confusing. This first day could be Monday, September 14th, or it could be the 17th, depending on what group your child is in. Not all of our classes have been split due to just keeping the numbers low. So in the parent portal, you should be able to see by Friday what days your child is assigned. If you're in a 5-day-a-week class, for example, your child will be either in the Monday, Tuesday group or the Thursday, Friday group. The squirrel class is Monday, Tuesday, no matter what. The grasshopper class is Thursday, Friday, no matter what. But we do have those other classes that are 4 and 5 days. So check the parent portal. If you don't know and you're confused, I'm going to send out an email that will say exactly what your schedule is going to look like. And I'll show you an example of that. Every class has, I'm sorry, wrong thing. The first day, every student can have 2 adults, no more than 2 adults with them the first day. We're just trying to limit the number of people in the building. Again, Mrs. Cerniak and all of us met today. We think that this is gonna be very smooth and work out. But if it seems like there are too many people in the building at one time, we may have to make an adjustment. So let's see how the first day goes, and we'll go from there, and we'll let you know if anything is gonna change. So that first day, come on time. Don't come 25 minutes early. There will be nothing to do. Come on time, maybe 5 minutes before. When you arrive, you'll be greeted at the door. We'll check your temperature. Grown-ups, anyone over age 5 has to have a mask on. We'll tell you go this way for this room, this way for the other room, and then you will wash your hands. You'll meet your teachers. We'll probably give them a name tag, either pinned on them or like a necklace. And then you'll go to the classroom with your child. You're not leaving them. You're not saying goodbye. You're coming in. It's kind of like an open house, so they meet all the kids in the room, see all the parents, play. It's really hard sometimes as a teacher to walk in and try to get to know the kids and all the grown-ups are standing around. So get down on the ground and play with us. Remember, no shoes. And try to make them as comfortable in that room as you can. All right, so Mrs. Napehover, do you want to go over this schedule? You don't have to say a ton because I'm going to show an example, but just in general, how we make each day a little bit longer.
Sure. Your first day at school is a visit, like Miss Jackie said. You can bring 2 family members. That is it. Your second day will be 1 hour long, just 1 hour. If you feel your child is comfortable, you can leave them for that hour. If we see your child is stressed or you feel they're stressed, you're welcome to stay with them, but we encourage that you leave them and try to see if the 1 hour will work. On the third day, it's an hour and a half, and the fourth day will be a full day. So for example, if you're Monday, Tuesday, your first day will be Monday, your second day will be Tuesday, your third day will be Monday, and then your fourth day will be a Tuesday. So it's not going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It will not be 3 days, 4 days in a row. Each student comes in at their own timeline with the readiness procedures, which are all the procedures that they basically went over with already. All classes will be at regular times starting September 26th.
So just going with what Ms. Haver was saying, 28th, you're right. And I see an error there. I'm so sorry because I put the second day 1 hours. And I am such a nerd, like that's driving me crazy. It should be 1 hour, not plural. So your child won't have school the entire time until the 28th. Now, the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, you're going to walk them into the building. September 28th is when you will not be walking into the building. You'll stop at the glass doors and drop them off. We'll check their temperature and then meet them as a class and walk down to the classroom together. If your child is not ready to leave you at that time, we might just say, hey mom, why don't you come on in? If you're not comfortable, you can say, is it okay if I come in for a little bit? Then we'll check your temperature, make sure you're wearing a mask, and let you in. But not everyone, all the families, all the parents are going to be coming into the building after September 28th. That's why we said each student is on their own timeline. So some children are going to be ready for you to leave them the first day. Others, it may be October 1st, so they're really ready to say goodbye. That's okay. So this is an example of a schedule. I made Weston's schedule. This is my little one. So I will email something like this to everyone that says very specifically what's going on. So Weston's schedule, he is signed up for the Blue Heron class. That class is supposed to be Monday through Friday from 12:30 to 3. Now, we've adjusted some of our classes a little bit with arrival and dismissal time so they don't arrive and dismiss at the same times. The Cardinal is staying the same. The Cardinal goes at the same time as the Blue Heron. So Wes is going to come to school only on Mondays and Tuesdays. He's in the Blue Heron group 1, the Monday, Tuesday group. The only schedule I need to worry about for Wes is the Monday, Tuesday. He's not coming to school on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. Those are all home days. So Monday, the 14th, is that first day visit with me. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Hopefully Dad, because I'm teaching. In and out, like an open house type of setting. The second day of school is an hour long. So from 12:45, we're going to start the Blue Heron at 12:45. Right? Okay. 12:45 to 1:45. That's it for the week. The next week, Monday is at 1.5 hours. Tuesday is 2 hours. And then we're at full schedule, 12:30. I'm sorry, it's usually 12:30. 12:45 to 3:15. That's his normal class time. So we are going to adjust only one classroom, the pond classroom. That's the salamander class, the crickets, the Blue Herons. Those times will be a little bit adjusted in arrival and at dismissal. So that's one big change. And if it's not a lot of people, maybe we won't have to, but we're going to start like this to see how it goes. The morning schedule, to give you an idea, the salamanders, squirrels will come at the same time. Squirrels will arrive at 9 and they're done at 11. The salamanders will arrive at 9:15. And they will also, their end time is 11:30. That's not changing. So only the salamander morning time is adjusted to 9:15 to just stagger those start times. And then the afternoon, the Blue Herons, 12:45 to 3:15. Does that make sense?
Correct.
It's a lot. Don't worry. You don't need to know everybody's schedule. And I know it's overwhelming. Just think of how stressful it is for us. We're going to email you your schedule. All right. So Mrs. Cerniak is going to talk about what it's like at school and school life.
Okay, so at Parma Preschool, we have a saying that when these children arrive to school on any day, we look at it as this: what if this was their only day at Parma Preschool? So we want every single day to be full of joy, laughter, adventure, exploring. So that's kind of how we look at everything that happens at Parma Preschool. So I'm going to start off with saying, I think we forgot to mention their clothes. We want you to find your oldest clothes, the ones you do not care about, and that's what they can wear to school. Because the saddest thing for us and the saddest thing for our students are if they have this lovely, beautiful, brand new outfit on and they can't paint or do anything because they're afraid it's going to get dirty. You can wear those on picture day and first day, but every day they are allowed to explore and paint and try new things. So that's the one thing. So we want to really enforce the arrival and dismissal, that you try to stay to the timeline. It can be quite disruptive when you come in 20 minutes late. There has been some years that this became a problem. It hasn't been lately, but we really would like you to arrive as close to your class time and be there at the closest pickup time. Children get very, very upset when they're the last ones left in the classroom.
Or if they arrive late, because meetings
Right.
start at class time. So if they miss that arrival time, it's a big part of our day.
Correct. So we also want to say that we play outside every day. The only times we don't is if it's severely cold or pouring down rain, and chances are, even in the pouring down rain, they may have umbrellas and splashing in puddles. If you would see the joy on children's faces when they can jump in puddles, there is nothing in the world like it. So again, if you think of our philosophy, if this was their only day, you know, we might get out there for a little bit, but we will take very good care of them. We also have gymnastics, kinder music, and yoga. Those will not start until October. Once everyone's settled in their classroom and they're comfortable with their teacher and they're comfortable with the school, we slowly introduce them to going into gymnastics. I teach kinder music, so they'll come in the big room with me and I'll introduce myself and I'll say, this is where we play music, and they will get accustomed to changing. Some children have a very hard time of moving out of their classroom. They're afraid that you won't see them. You won't know where to pick them up. There's all kinds of interesting thoughts that go through their minds. We often say we're going to write a book about it because, you know, I don't think people think about what they're thinking about. So we study children. So that's what I'll tell you. They'll get worried that you won't know where to pick them up. So we introduce it gently. Once they're very comfortable, then that's what we start. We are trying to keep the classes to 9 children per class, and they will have the same 2 teachers.
Mr. John already mentioned the
I
folders.
think he did talk about the folders. Every day we anticipate what's going to happen in our classroom. So we are a Reggio-inspired class, so we are an emergent curriculum, and it's very child-directed. We want them to develop higher level thinking skills. So what do you think is going to happen? So sometimes our day can go completely different than we had planned. Somebody may lose a tooth, and all of a sudden our day may become very different. So what we do is every day the teachers will write a daily diary. And on that, it will tell you exactly what happened in class that day. We post them outside the classroom. Since you won't be coming into the buildings this year, we will put them online for you. It will go on the Shutterfly. The new password for this year for Shutterfly, it's www.ppsnesw.shutterfly.com, and the password is joy2020.
I'll try to see if I can click on this to give you an idea of what that website is. So this is where you would go to see what your child did every day. It used to hang on the doors. I don't know if we're going to print them at all anymore because that's kind of sad, but you'll open this up and you'll see the ones from last year. Every classroom has a tab. We keep a calendar on here so you know what's going on, and I think you can like link that to your own calendar and get updates. We have some important links on here, but this is extra. You do not need to check this ever if you don't want to. A lot of people love this, but just to give you an idea, I think I moved everything. Let's see. From the Woods classroom. No, I didn't. Okay. So, it's so sad. You see only our stuff to March. That's as far as we went. So we have 3 classes in the Woods room, and then each one you'll see, if I wanted to, I could post pictures. So you could see the pictures we did when we did Henry Matisse. You could you can actually print them yourself. You can save them. We write what we did, why we did it. Here we did paints, and a little girl once said she made her skin color. So that became what we were doing, trying to mix different colors to make our skin color. The teachers will then write down, see, that's what Ellaby said, everyone has skin like mine, but we started to think more about that, and actually we realized, well, that's not true. The teachers will write up why we did it. Here we asked a question and we graphed their answer and then we counted. So it shows you how the learning is happening, and then all of these are those daily diaries or daily reflections, and you can click on each one and see what we did every single day. You're welcome, because that's a lot of work. It's okay, we like it. It's how we inform our practice. It's how we create our lesson plans. It's how we do assessment. It's pretty cool, actually. All right, so, oops, I went too far, sorry. Okay, so, how to reach us. If you didn't know, this is the phone number to the school. If you've tried calling during all this craziness, I apologize, because we just started to get back there. So if you're getting the answering machine a lot, that is not typical. Mrs. Cerniak is usually in the office and answers the phone. Now, it would be harder to reach her at arrival or dismissal because she's going to be at the door taking temperatures and helping us with things like that. So if you do get the answering machine and you need to reach us, remember there are other ways to reach your teacher. Call us, well, I'll get to that, but that's the phone number to reach the office. Outside of school hours or on the weekend, call the 440 phone number to reach us and leave us a message. Our fax number is there because sometimes people need to fax us forms. The biggest thing that I would tell you to do and download is Remind. That app, you can text your teacher. They can reach out to you. You probably got some reminders from me already. If you respond to any of those messages, it's only going back to the person who sent it. So Mrs. Julie, Mr. John, Mrs. Napehaver, me, and Mrs. Cerniak are all going to be on Remind. You can send each one of us a message, or you can send a message to all of us. Once you download that app, it'll ask you for the class code, and the code this year is PPS 2021. You can also email us through the parent portal, and each teacher usually sends out how to contact them with an email address as the year goes on. All right. So this is my new favorite thing. Behavior, child behavior. And this comes from Conscious Discipline, which is a resource we all love. Child behavior, first of all behavior, and this is sometimes a topic that people ask, how do you handle discipline? How do you handle bad behavior? And we kind of laugh. It's a terrible question for us to answer because we struggle. It depends. And sometimes we feel like parents want to know what's going to happen if, and we want to know, we want to say, well, why would that happen? Because behavior is communication, no matter what it is. Throwing a temper tantrum, crying, happiness, it's all a form of communication. Children at this age don't always have the words and can't even figure out why they're feeling that way. So it comes out in emotions and it comes out in actions, and that's behavior. That's just the top of the iceberg. What we don't know, what we don't see is underneath the water, the other part of the iceberg. So what led up to that behavior or that communication? And these are some of the things, what they're really saying and what they're wondering. And it could be anything. So here's another one, the behavior iceberg. So if they're angry, if they're hiding, if they're crying, if they're screaming, there's more to it. It's usually another feeling. And it could be sadness, anxiety, embarrassment, worry. At school time, when you start anything new, children act differently. And sometimes you'll try to get them in there into the classroom and they won't be having it. And the worst thing for us to see is parents forcing the kids, like, come on, you're fine, everyone's doing it. Come on, you're fine. Well, they're not fine right now. It's okay. If they're having a little hard time walking into the classroom, just take a minute. Don't push them in right away. We're all going to be adjusting a lot this year, and this is new for them anyway. Some of them, even if the returners are coming back, we have a few, they haven't been around kids since March. So it may be a difficult adjustment. Hang in there. They're all going to go through it. Above all else, keep us in the loop of what's going on at home. So like Mr. John was mentioning, if they didn't have breakfast, if a pet recently passed away, let us know, because that's all happening under the surface. That iceberg part we can't see. So the more you clue us in to know what's going on at home, or they got terrible sleep, the more we know what may be influencing a behavior that we might see. And if you're struggling and you start saying like, you know, they were happy coming to school and now all of a sudden they don't want to come, tell us, because guess what? They all do that.
Mhm.
All of them. Eventually it becomes not new anymore and they kind of start testing you. Or we start implementing like, okay, now it's time to clean up. And now they're like, I don't want to clean up. So when they start pushing back and starting resisting, let your teachers know. The more we know, the more we can help with. I thought I had a slide on here of when to call. Did I miss it? Well, you don't have to let us know everything, but please let us know if, you know, there's something going on at home. Please let us know if you're sick, if you know a vacation is coming up, if you know you're not going to be at school. I didn't show you the handbook, which I will. It'll be up by Friday. But on our website, if you go to the website, I'll pull this up real quick. So if you go to our website, this is our website, primerpreschool.com. And if you go up to the top, you'll see news and updates. Everything that I'm going to show you will be emailed to you probably monthly, but this is how you log into the parent portal. And then in case you miss anything, it'll be right here. So our current newsletter, it's a Padlet, which is just fancy for saying it's a newsletter. So here's everything that's happening in September. And you see a note here from Mrs. Cerniak about coming to school. You see how to reach your teachers. This is the Remind app. This is the Shutterfly. And then this is the Zoom meeting you're on. This is how to sign up for a family visit day, which if you didn't do that, you're going to do that the first day of school. And then this Bitmoji classroom is going to be up and running, and you will see a Mrs. Cerniak's office. Everything on here is clickable. So if you click this, it'll take you to the website. If you click this, it'll take you to the Remind app. Right here is our family handbook. We are still putting the finishing touches on all of those new policies. So in there, you can see anything you would practically have a question about. But one of the things is when to call us. You're gonna let us know if your child gets any one of those nasty, contagious things like strep throat. We don't need to know they have a cold. Like, you can tell us they have a cold, but if it's contagious, we need to know. The yucky ones. And then you will be notified if anyone has, if your child's had contact with anyone with a contagious disease, we will notify you. We usually send a letter or post it. We won't necessarily say it was in your child's classroom. It's someone they play with all the time for confidentiality reasons. But you may see your child may have come in contact with someone who recently had strep throat and what to watch for so that you have a good idea.
All right. Okay, I think now we can go to questions. If anyone has any questions. I'll have to, Jackie's flipping the screen back to see if somebody.
Sorry, here's what's next and here's questions. So let me go. Stop sharing. All right. Are there any? We covered so much. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So with the kids going back to school and that and everything, are you guys also going to be doing the virtual learning as well as?
Yes. So if you didn't yet, our first video, which we posted, I don't know where, maybe Facebook, and what our plan for our hybrid method is to not rely heavily on anything really virtual, but to do work at home. So we personally, I
know
have
this goes on for another half an hour, right?
They're taking questions.
it's okay. So we have
I'm asking questions.
we have
Sorry.
That's okay. Are you kidding? You heard what's going on?
We're taking care of 4 of our kids right now from the math and stuff, and she jumped in. So like, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
So I have 2 who are in their 3rd week of virtual learning, and they sit in front of a computer from 9 to 3:30. And let me tell you how wonderful that is for behavior and attitudes. We know that screen time and young children do not mix. So here's our idea. We are going to post things to our YouTube channel and share them, but it's not going to be required. Anything that's work at home is going to be something to do. So for example, we may have a teacher read a story on YouTube, and you can watch it and listen to it or read it on your own at home, and then there'll be an activity to do after. What we hope to do is extend whatever we started the week with at home. We're starting, I think, probably globally with all the classes with family. So the very first assignment and project you're going to get from us is a story about families. And then the first assignment is going to be take a family picture and print it and bring it in, because we're going to start with families. So as it progresses from there, it may be something related to a story. It may be something specific to a class. Like I know you were in my class last year, we studied squirrels. So it may be count the number of squirrels you see at your window and circle which one the most was. But it's going to be something to do. We don't want them sitting in front of a screen. It absolutely will not be like log in at this time and sit there. We're seeing lots of negatives from how that's turning out.
Well, with my kids doing the whole virtual thing right now, and one of them, his older brother, who's autistic, it's really tough on these kids. One, they're sitting at the screen all day. They only get like maybe an hour lunch break right now.
Yeah.
And that's how they're doing it for the 2 teenage daughters we have, and then, you know, the autistic son. And it's stressful.
It's horrible. And I'm worried. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I'm worried for what this is going to do to our children, because we are social beings, and children, young children under the age of 8 learn through their senses. And that means you don't want them to touch it, smell it, lick it, taste it, then don't put it there. And they can't learn effectively, deeply, and authentically through a screen. They can't. And that is why we are not going to push that. But we're going to do activities. We're going to make it, hopefully you stay in good communication with us and tell us we want more or we need a break. Nothing's really going to be set in stone. Like, you're not going to be turning stuff in. So
no, my wife was telling me about the whole entire shoes thing. You guys are taking off shoes now instead.
We are.
So how does that work? Like, is it supposed to stop the spread or something, or?
Yes, actually there's 2 articles that are posted on our website.
Not yet, but they will be. I'm sorry, I'm behind.
And once you read them, you probably will never let someone wear shoes in your house. Our shoes are really, I mean, I've wanted to do this for years, and this just gave me the push to go ahead with it. Your shoes are really nasty kind of things.
Yeah.
And the thing that's interesting in our classrooms is most of our time is spent on the floor.
Yeah.
So one way to get rid of some of the, to keep some of the germs out, shoes is huge. It's huge.
And honestly, usually the kids want to take off their shoes.
Yeah, they usually do it.
So it's not going to be a big deal for them. I think it's going to be for the first couple of weeks when you're walking in that the parents are going to be like, oh my gosh, I have to take off my shoes.
Yeah.
So like I would want to make sure I have matching socks that day, or, not a sock with a.
Now, the other question I had is when this whole thing started, I know you guys were in the process of having them learn this to write and spell their names, and it just kind of went out the window at that point. So now Now Caleb's like, I don't know how to spell my name.
Well, of
Well,
course.
yeah, that's the
First of
problem.
all-
So
First of all, and you're a returner, because there are some people who are brand new and they're probably going like, oh my gosh, my kid can't spell their name. They're going to be behind. Every kid is exactly where they should be. Now, Caleb was in school before. I have another one, Capri's mommy. I know that when they walk in the door, what they're capable of, but it's kind of like readjusting. And then before you know it, we're going to get right back to it. So he made
okay.
signing in way ahead of people in his class who are brand new to school. And that's fine, but we've always done that. So learning has always been so individualized. So if Caleb is ready to
So
start.
are you guys leaving off where COVID happened, or are you starting over again?
Well, I know we're starting over in a new school year, but everyone who comes back, we're starting over with, it's a new school year, and adjusting to a new class, and adjusting to not being around kids.
Okay, so you guys are starting over again.
Yes, but we will never, he's not going to go backwards by any means. I know he's already grown so much, so I know where he was, and he's going to keep going up. So I hope that makes sense, but everything is so individualized. You'll see it more this year because he's been in school before. So I'll try to stay in good communication with you too, so that you know what's going on.
Yes, Mr. John?
I just wanted to say something, that it's going to actually be a little bit more individually, developmentally appropriate because of such smaller kids size classrooms, that we'll be able to leave off where Caleb left off and continue further, or a new kid coming in could benefit from Caleb for how far he is. It's really going to be it's going to be like a different kind of experiment. I want to say experiment because it's new. We're trying a new thing, but we could do
so basically kind of
like
the
different things.
Older brother aspect, where
kind of like
where the little kid's watching older brother and what. Hopefully not the other way.
Well,
they listen better when it's not related. It's not the brother, but an older, right?
That's the way I think of it. Like monkey see, monkey do. Like, oh well, if Caleb's doing this stuff and he's doing it, well, maybe I'll try it or do it that way.
Children do learn from each other. Absolutely.
It's going to be a different year. We're going to be able to do things we probably have not been able to do, but always wanted to. And I think it's going to happen, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, as bad as it all seems in some aspect, the teachers are so excited because we have such small classes. We can do so much more. So in that aspect, we're really excited.
Well,
I'm going back to mute.
Okay. All right, so that was a good question, and I know he's coming from another. Oh, I like your thumbs up, Mrs. Busser. He's coming from a different perspective because his son was there last year, and I see a couple 3 return 4. I don't know, Mrs. Schofield. Do you have a question, or are you playing? No, I think she's playing. She's playing blocks.
Oh, okay.
So does anyone else have a question? And you may think of it after the meeting, and that's fine because we will be at school doing these things.
Caleb. Oh. Yeah, he just got out of the bath, huh?
Caleb.
Yeah. I thought he wanted to say hi, but he just got out of the bath.
Are there no other questions? You guys are that easy. I love it. Oh wait,
Well, I have a lot of questions.
How long is the first day of school? Is it 2 hours where the parents are going to stay with the kids? No.
No, the first day is, I can try to go back.
It's like a meet and greet. You just come in and see the whole class. The teachers will probably sing a song or play a game, and that's pretty much it. I
want to say a half hour.
Okay.
But sometimes just arriving and dismissing, and we try to get their picture. So at tops, it'll be 45 minutes. We try to let them come in and warm up to talking to us because sometimes we don't want to. And then playing, and we try to have like we're going to meet at the carpet and have some sort of closing. So a half hour to 45 minutes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and if your child is like, leave, goodbye, and you
Yeah.
want to, because sometimes that happens and it's the grown-ups who are crying, we're gonna have, it's short. The whole first 2 weeks are short. So we have a big room that you can always walk down to and hang out there, and then come back to pick them up at pickup time, or you can just go to the hallway and we'll have chairs that are spaced appropriately, and you can sit out there. You don't have to stay in the classroom if your child is ready and you're ready. But we never really want to kick you out and say it's time to go because you might not be ready and they might.
Caleb, you want to say hi to Miss Jackie?
That's okay. Okay. All right. I think that's it. If there's no other questions, I am going to stop recording so I don't have to look at my face anymore, because that's another thing that I feel like I just look at myself and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I look like this and I hate it. I'm going to share this. Again, I'm going to email everybody their own schedules so you'll know. But if you're a squirrel or grasshopper, nothing has changed. The salamanders are in 2 different groups, Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday. And the biggest change is the salamanders and the blue herons we're gonna stagger those start times. So the salamanders will start school at 9:15, end at 11:30 still. The blue herons will start at 12:45, and we're gonna stagger their dismissal at 3:15. Okay? All right, my puppy is ready for me to pay attention
Thanks.
to.
See you next week or tomorrow.
5 sleeps till the first day. Hi, Capri. Hi. Oh, I see so many smiling faces. I can't wait to see you. Okay, bye, everybody. Thank you for signing on.